Hi there. I hope you've got your afternoon tea. I'm Betsy, and we're going to think about the incredible job that you've got as kinship carers. You might not feel like it's incredible. You might feel really tired. You might feel maybe even fed up. You might even go, why has this happened to me? But do you know what? You are in a position where you can actually influence the next generation. You can see these children and young people recover from the impact of the awful experiences that probably some of them have had. You know, when a child experiences frightening things, when they feel terrified and powerless because they don't know what to do to change the situation they find themselves in, we often call that trauma. And trauma can impact all of us in so many different ways. But trauma can really impact children and young people particularly because they're more powerless than us as adults. You see, as adults, we can choose to go no and to maybe run away or to fight. We call that the fight or flight or freeze response, and it's a very automatic response, but we have a little bit more choice and more strength as adults to know what to do when we feel terrified. Children don't. They're born so dependent. They can't do anything. They can't run away from danger. They can't even feed themselves. And as they grow up, they're still so dependent on us as adults. That's why they often say things like, well, who's going to look after me? Even though we look and think, oh, I'm fairly sure they could probably be okay. They can't. They need adults. So when they've experienced frightening things where they felt powerless to do anything about it, whether that's maybe seeing a parent or somebody that was looking after them, maybe in substance addiction, maybe getting drunk a lot, maybe in unemployment, maybe they've seen one of their parents struggle and fight through domestic abuse, maybe they've seen their parents struggle with mental health issues. And as children, they're left going, oh, I'm trying my best to help, but I don't know what else to do. So that sense of fear or terror and powerlessness can have impact on all sorts of areas of their life. It can cause them problems with their learning. It can cause them problems with their behaviour. It can cause them problems with their relationships. It can cause them problems with their emotions. It can cause them all sorts of different problems. But the good news is that we adults can help them recover from all of those different things. And I've been doing this job now of helping people understand the power of our relationships for, 20, 30 years. And I'm so excited by the stories I get to hear. Stories of children beginning to trust again. Stories of children beginning to know how to, we call it regulate, sort of manage and know what to do with their very big feelings. Stories of children and young people that were once on the edge of exclusion. The schools were going, we don't know what to do with them. And now they're actually managing to focus on their learning. I love those stories. I collect them. But it's all down to people like you that are choosing to invest into the generation to come. You're investing into them with your time and energy. And I just want to encourage you that even if you feel exhausted and even when there's some bad days, you're still making a difference. So what are the kind of things you could do? Well, when we recognise that trauma or bad things usually happen because of relationships that we've got, but recovery happens because of relationships we've got. So the things that really work the best are when we know that when we're looking after children, we can be consistent. Consistency is incredible. If we can be consistent in how we speak and consistent in our expectations and consistent in our kindness and consistent so there's a sense of rhythm in our relationship, children begin to feel safer. When they feel safer, they relax a bit more. When they relax a bit more, their behaviour is less agitated and less worrying. So we can help them feel safer just by our consistency. So for example, if a child is naughty, they know that they're going to consistently get us being curious, not furious. So we're going to go, oh, I heard that you were naughty again in school. Oh, that does worry me, that does concern me. I'm wondering what was going on for you. Shall we sit and have a chat about what's going on? rather than sometimes we might be okay and other times we might yell at them and tell them that they're stupid. Consistency in what we speak over our kids. I love to speak to children, but I love to speak behind their backs. It's one of my little secret things I do, is when I hear kids talking, sometimes I will very cleverly say, and they don't know I'm there, they don't know that I can hear them, I'll say, oh my goodness, I've heard that little John was really, really good at school. The person I'm talking to will go, really? I'm like, yeah, I'm so proud of them. There's something very powerful about children hearing us talk behind their backs in a really positive way. Because for some children who have really gone through tough times, when we say they're great, they just go, yeah, whatever. But when we can talk about them in a really positive way, when they don't know that we know they're listening, that can really help them. So when we're consistent in speaking positive words, like I really believe in you, I really think you're a great kid. Oh, I know you've got, all sorts of challenges at the moment, but I really believe that one day you're going to be an amazing photographer, creator, writer, car salesman, I don't know, whatever it is that you see little sparks of their future in them, kind of pull them out and speak it to them that you believe that they've got a great future. Not just in a fake way, but really imagine it. When we can use our imagination to picture them as adults doing really well and we speak that to them, they can begin to imagine it too. And when they can begin to imagine a positive future, then they begin to believe that that's possible. And they begin to know that we believe in them. And when a kid thinks that they've got an adult believing in them, my goodness, that changes everything. And sometimes I'm a mum of four. Sometimes, our kids can really annoy us. They can be really irritating. But when we can actually regulate or look after our own feelings so that we don't kind of blurge on them, but instead we kind of take our big feelings that we might have of irritation, frustration and tiredness, and we take them out a little bit later. Maybe we put some time aside in the evening to go, oh, that was frustrating. But we make sure that they don't hear that. So that in front of them, we're always curious, not furious. We're always speaking into their future. We're always saying positive words to them about, I believe that you are brilliant at. And also, I think there's something very positive about kind of naming what we're not so good at. I don't think every child should be brilliant at everything, do you? Like, when I was little, and I'm now 49, when I was little, it was really normal when we were about 11 to say, well, I'm really good at this, but I'm not so good at this. I'm really good at English, but I'm not ever so good at maths. Or I'm really good at dancing, but I'm not so good at running. And these days, the education system seems to make it that everyone has to be good at everything. I think when we're looking after children, being able to say, wow, you're really good at this. Oh, it doesn't matter that you're not so good at that. Just enables them to have less pressure on them as well, which enables them to feel safer in our relationship. And when they feel safer, when they feel like they're being championed by us, then actually they begin to feel safe enough to explore their own big feelings and then eventually recover from trauma. So, imagine their future. Speak positively about them, even if they're being really annoying. Hold that in and just go, I still believe that you are a great kid. I believe that you're going to be an amazing footballer. I believe that your writing is fantastic. Encouragement needs to be specific, not general. Like, even though you're a great kid, that's okay. But even better is if you say, you're a great kid because I just saw you share your sweets. You're a great kid because I just noticed that actually you picked up that person's bag when they dropped it. You're a great kid because you just took your plate to get washed up. Well done. Seeing those tiny things that they do and encouraging them and speaking positively in them. It's not that difficult, is it? I mean, it is difficult because we're humans and we get tired, but it's not really it's not rocket science. But as we do this, honestly, I promise you, we begin to see children who have been very frightened who have had lots of inconsistency, lots of muddle, lots of chaos, lots of turmoil and pain and difficulty, they begin to notice that actually they're good kids because they've got someone believing it the best about them, who's speaking it into their life, who's imagining a positive future. Sometimes we call it the repetitive, rewarding relationships. There's the R's, the repetitive, rewarding relationships. I'm sure you agree that, if you see someone once and they're nice to you, that's nice, but it doesn't change your life. When you have someone in your life who's repetitive, so they're repetitively, consistently telling you you're okay and that you're good at something and you're a good kid or you're a good adult, you begin to feel better about yourself. So there's something very profound about us as adults and you as kinship carers being that safe place, being that champion of the child, speaking positive words and being consistent. One other really nice thing to do is to try and find one special thing that you can do with these kids. One thing that they really enjoy and you really enjoy. I don't know what you like to do. I really like cooking. Well, no, I don't like cooking. I'm not actually very good at cooking. Please share me any recipes. I'm really bad at cooking, but I'm really good at making cakes and biscuits. And I love it when my kids were little and we would make cookies together. I loved the process of making them because they enjoyed it, although I think they enjoyed eating it more. I enjoyed it, so we'd chatter together. Those positive chatterings together really build the relationship and build that sense of safety for the child. Again, it's not rocket science, is it? Maybe you hate baking, but maybe you really like cars, and so, you love nothing more than on a Saturday morning, every Saturday, to polish a car. And they like it too. Perfect. Maybe you like running. I hate it. But maybe you love running and maybe you can go running with them. Or maybe you like flowers and maybe you draw flowers together. I have no idea. There's so many different things that an adult and a child or an adult and a young person can do together. And even if it's 10 minutes, again, if it's repetitive, if it's regular, if the child knows it's going to happen every week, then they can look forward to that time where they're with you and they feel connected to you because you're doing a positive thing with them. So find something, anything that you and the child can enjoy doing together. What else? I guess one last point I've got is I expect possibly, there can be some bad days. Do you know, with all of us, we have bad days, don't we, where everything seems to go wrong. Maybe, you've cooked a really nice dinner and then, you've dropped half of it on the floor, or maybe, I don't know, maybe one of them's screaming and one of them's had a bad day at school and you just think, oh my goodness, everything's going wrong. And maybe on that day you've just said something awful, like, oh, you're so annoying, I can't believe I'm in this situation. Maybe you did that awful thing. Don't panic. When we make mistakes, one of the things that can really build our relationship with our children and the children we're looking after is when we actually say sorry. I actually quite enjoy saying sorry to my kids sometimes because I feel like it models that as well. And it helps them understand that I'm not perfect as an adult, but I'm trying my best. So the good news is the psychologists, they call it rupture and repair. So if you've got this consistent positive relationship and then it gets ruptured or broken because something goes wrong in it, if it's just a one-off, like, look, that went wrong, the dinner went wrong, we all ended up arguing, or we couldn't choose the choice of film, so we had a big argument, or somebody ran out going, I hate you, the good news is you can repair it again. You can repair that relationship. And it's so lovely to be able to, as an adult, say to a child, when I said that thing, I didn't mean it. I think you're amazing, and I'm so sorry I said something that I don't think. I'm sorry I lost my temper. I'm sorry I didn't remember to do that thing you asked me. Will you forgive me? It's a little thing, and maybe that's really tough for you. Maybe you'd go, oh my goodness, I'd rather do anything than that. But you know what? It really builds relationship, and it builds that consistency and that sense of being safe for the kids when we just admit that we're trying our best and we don't always get it right. So there's just a few little things just to help you in your role as kinship carer believing the best about your kid, even when their behaviour says that maybe no one else in the world is speaking positive things over them. Maybe everyone else is going, oh, they're the naughty kid, they're the bad kid, they're the kid that can't concentrate, they're the kid that, whatever anyone else is saying, let's let our voices and your voices be the one in their life that goes, you are a great kid. I know you're having some problems around this, but you're a great kid, and I believe that in the future you could be. So use your imagination, use your words, spend some good time with them, and don't forget consistency, kindness, and repetitive experiences that are positive will literally change the whole shape of their brain. And then eventually it will change their behaviour, it will change their emotions, because they'll feel safe because of what you're doing. So well done. For every little thing that you do that feels like it's exhausting, for every little thing that you do that feels like you're having to go that extra mile, well done. You're changing lives. Hope that helps. Bye.